Welcome back. Another episode of Insights with C5 Insight. I got Paige and Emily and myself, Malcolm, here to talk about the new Dynamics 365 and Microsoft Power Platform. Yes, I'm reading. Release Planner portal. That's not a portal. We're going to talk about that in a minute. So I'm going to pull up our screen here. And so this is a relatively new, as far as I'm concerned anyways. It's new to me because I just came across it in the last little while. This fabulous portal or page or power page, perhaps, that allows us to get access to all of the coming release features. And it absolutely blew me away because I've long looked at, like many of us, right? We've looked at the release guides and read through the guides, and they've been doing a great job with the learn material and kind of categorizing it, and that was nice. This takes it to a whole new level as far as I'm concerned. Yeah. Right. So we started playing around with it a bit and we thought, what a great topic, because I don't think a lot of people realize this is out there. So we thought we'd give you a little, not a tour, but we'll just point out some of the things we've observed and go from there. So who wants to dive in? What do you like about it?
Visually, it's just amazing to look at. I don't know about you two and anyone else watching this, but looking through that PDF, hundreds of pages, is not really my ideal way to consume information. So visually, the ability to go through each relevant area, as well as the searching functionality. I know that sounds pretty basic, but honestly is a huge improvement over the previous way to consume these release notes.
Yeah, absolutely.
I really like the ability to categorize and see what's coming. So you can see on the left, we've got all our different types of apps and whatnot. So we're into sales and I can see planned. And when I click planned, it's going to show me, you know, there's 7 items, and between these different categories, we've got our 7 different items in here. If I switch that to the what's coming soon, it's going to sort of change and highlight. I think that's great because, you know, hey, what's planned, what's coming out soon, what can I do now, right? And go see what's in preview and actually start to play with it and see what I think of it, which is really, really phenomenal as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, absolutely. And the fact you can do my release plans, I really like that.
Yeah, so let's show how that works, because that was new to me even when we were just getting ready for this call. So I had seen it up here, but I hadn't played with it. So if you haven't put anything on your release plan, there's nothing there. But if you're looking at one of your areas and we say, okay, well, this is data and AI, this button's going to show up so long as you're signed in, right? So if you're not signed in, you don't actually have the ability. You'll see the My Release Plans, but you can't add. As soon as you sign into your work or school account, you now have the ability to click that, and it now shows up on the My Release Plans, or so it should have. There we go. So it now shows up, and so I can start to curate my own list, which I think is amazing, of what's important to me, what things am I super interested in, which I always found such a challenge, because to your point, Emily, you go through this massive guide, hundreds of pages, and not owning a printer, it's not like I was going to print it out and highlight stuff like we did back in school. Probably could have done that, and I'm sure people have done that, and kudos to you. But I never did that. I always struggled with, like, what was that thing I saw? Or I had to keep a OneNote of what things that caught my attention. And this just allows me to just build out that list, which is super cool.
Yeah, and so you can start adding items that you're interested in keeping on your release plans. And another item within each of the items is a change request or change history, I believe. Not request, yeah, history. If you scroll down a little bit on that one, Malcolm. Yeah, so now within each of these tasks or items, sorry, you'll see this change history. So if you start adding those to your release plan, you can start noting items that are important to your internal users, let's say, and then you can keep on top of any changes that are being made to them from Microsoft's side. So you can start keeping your internal users, any clients, keeping them informed of any changes that are coming up. Perhaps there's going to be a delayed launch on this enhancement, let's say. So that's a really good way to, you know, keep those items, stay on top of them if they're in your release plan.
Nice.
Yeah, very cool.
I like Paige, the timeline on the right there.
Yeah,
it's nice and clear. It's not lumped in with a bunch of other stuff. And I like that it tells you right there where it was included initially.
Yeah, that's super cool. Paige, you called out something too about this whole idea of managing release plans. So I'm sure some of you watching are like us, you're in the consultant role and you're juggling multiple projects with multiple customers. So you might have different things you want to follow for each of your customers or your projects that you're working on. So Paige, you had a neat suggestion on how to do that.
Yeah, so this is a very cool functionality. However, it appears, at least to us, that it's a little limiting in that it's based on the logged in user, and you can only have one of these release plans for that user. So it's great because you can add all this information, you can have it very focused. But for people like us, or for people who are in large organizations and manage a bunch of different environments, there's not really a way, as of right now, with one login to be able to differentiate what those plans might look like. So one of the things I thought you could possibly do is, for us, often we have different logins based on the client. So we could use those different logins, those different personas. And Malcolm's pointing out the top there where he's logged in right now with his C5 account. But we could use those different personas and those logins to have a different release plan for each client. That way, when we're talking to our clients, maybe on bi-weekly or monthly basis, and talking to them about what's coming up, then you could just pull this right up, and there's the stuff that's going to be coming that you think would be most important to them. So I think that's going to be a really cool tool for us to be able to use. And something else, now that you have something on your list,
Yep,
there's an additional icon that gets displayed. It's that go up a little bit more, Malcolm, to the right. It's a
right
share
here.
icon.
Yep.
So you can actually send that link to someone else so that they can see this information.
Super cool.
Yeah, which I'm really a fan.
I love that idea because and we were talking about it offline before jumping in, but this idea of like, hey, I'm on project A with client 123, and I need to be wholly invested in what I'm focused on with them, and their projects probably were moving in a direction on this topic and whatever the case. So there's certain elements of the release plan that are going to tie really nicely to that. Certain elements that aren't going to touch on that at all, right? That customer maybe is like, yeah, cool feature, maybe next year. And so being able to build out a plan specific to the needs of that customer, that's fantastic. I'd love it. And if Microsoft, if you're listening, the ability to create our own plans within a same logon, I think would be really valuable for people who maybe don't have multiple projects across, so that they can be like, I want my release plan for my AI focus of my role, and now my sales focus and my marketing focus. And I think that'd be a really cool feature to have.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Definitely. On that note of features that are not currently in this release planner, I don't know what you both think about this. One thing that I think could be beneficial is the ability to sign up for alerts. I don't know if that's an email alert or if it's a to-do or just something that, if it's a feature that your client is really looking for, or a feature that you just really want to ensure that you're staying on top of timelines for, a way to get reminded or alerted of a change on that.
Nice.
Yeah,
That
I don't
would be
know.
cool.
I almost wonder, I doubt it, and I don't say that to discredit anyone who's had anything to do with this, but I wonder if that's maybe part of it. If you've put something on your plan, there's something in the background that will actually notify me, and that may or may not be there. Again, I doubt it because this is relatively new.
Yeah,
but that would be a neat feature. If it is doing it, that's amazing and great call to whoever made that recommendation to put it in the product. But if I have it on my plan, clearly it's interesting to me, and I want to follow it. So notifying me of, hey, we just moved this back a month or ahead a month or whatever, that would be really cool. So
I'll be interested. I'll be interested to see, along not exactly the same lines, but similar idea around if something on my list changes between the groups. My assumption is, that's just to use a database analogy, it's probably just a field on a row, right?
Right.
The planned, coming soon, and try now. Will it, when it moves from planned to coming soon, will it stay on my release plan? I'm assuming yes, but I'll be interested to see if it does continue to stay on my plan if I have it on there.
Very cool. Yeah, that's a good call out.
Oh, and Malcolm, you were gonna show the note.
Oh yeah, there's so the ability to just track a note and right? So keeps, hey, I'm interested in this because, what 1, 2, 3, or perhaps linking it to a certain component of the project, or hey, Sally mentioned this as a neat feature. I got to remember to show it to her. So you can actually track a note against a specific item. Very Power Pages-esque icon there, and it throws the note onto the item so that we see it. But Paige, you pointed out, once you do that, there isn't an indicator of sorts that says, hey, you got a note over here. So I don't, maybe that's something that's coming down the pipe, but that'd be neat. Even if this just changed to like highlighted or with a check or something, right?
Something, yeah, exactly.
But then you can come in and you can remove, that note from the plan. And then you can also remove the item. Now there was, when I first pulled this up today to go through this, make sure I had my ducks in a row, there was a little garbage can here, trash from my plan. And that icon is missing now, which is kind of strange. But if I click that, it's going to remove it from the plan. But it's obviously still part of the overarching release plan, which is cool. The other thing I wanted to show too, if you click down here and say learn more, it gives you this nice little shadow box. I love these so much that it's not taking me to some other page and I have to go back, right? It's just giving me the synthesized version of what I need to see. And when I'm done reading, I can just click close and I'm still where I was. It's one of my favorite features of Dynamics.
Not
for sure.
Inevitably going through the breadcrumbs of the
Right.
Microsoft
Right.
documentation.
Back.
That's right. That's right. Oh, wait, I went back too far.
Yeah.
Forward.
Yeah, my
Wait,
bad.
no.
Yeah.
So super cool. The goal of this session was really just to highlight this, and as a relatively new, I don't know when this even came out, but we did want to point out one little thing that kind of surprised us a little bit, language. So I came across this when I was searching release plans to share with a customer who's just brand new to Dynamics, and they weren't aware that release plans were a thing. And so I said, well, yeah, they're great. You can get the link to download them. And I'm trying to go back on my screen and it doesn't want to let me. But there was a language mix-up. So on the page that I used to get here, it said the release planner portal. And so that to me, I don't know what it told me. I don't know what I thought that meant, but interestingly enough, Microsoft's moved away, right? We know that Power Apps Portals is now Power Pages. So the portals language is going away, yet we're still using it when we talk about this and point to this. So that was an interesting and perhaps frustrating little minor first world thing, if you will, right? That just that language discrepancy. If we're getting away from using it, let's get away from using it.
Yeah, and I know I was one of the people where when we started talking about this this episode, and you said, let's talk about the release portal, and I was like, what the heck is the release portal? And I thought we were going away from portals. And so, when I clicked on the link and I was like, it doesn't say portal anywhere on here. But then, of course, you had to show me that it does say it somewhere, which you should have done. It's valid. So yeah, I think if folks that are in and out of these systems every day, like we are, and in and out of the documentation most of the week, that if it's confusing to us, it absolutely must be confusing to customers or users that aren't in and out of here as much.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, we'll save the other part of our topic because we're out of time, but a session that I'd love for us to have is how do we stay on top of this stuff, right? This is absolutely going to help because the whole my release plans, but just the overarching topic of like the innovation is so rapid. There's so many new features all the time. How on earth do you stay on top of that? That's a topic for another day that we'll definitely revisit because I know that's top of mind for a lot of folks in the industry and in the space because it's an ongoing battle to stay on top of what's going on. But
absolutely.
But hey, Microsoft, this is a fantastic new tool to at our disposal to keep track of it. So
we're a fan.
Thanks for watching, everybody. Have a great day.
Bye-bye.